Good to have you back on Newsday. The search for religious tolerance in the world has become particularly pressing today in promoting peaceful coexistence in a religiously plural society like Nigeria. Now, in the country, religious tolerance as a means of peace is expedient because of the near-frequent occurrences of religious strife during the past decades. Within this understanding, Dr. Sunday Onuoha joins us to examine religious tolerance in relation to a peaceful coexistence in Nigeria. Thanks for having you on Arise News, of course, Newsday. Bishop, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you, and thank you, our viewers.
All right, very good. Now, so we talk about religious tolerance as a condition for peace. But what if one religious sect believes in extremism and violence in entrenching its own ideology? How does one move forward in that respect?
Well, thank you. I believe that every responsible religion, by its own faith, its own book, holy book, should preach peace, should preach tolerance, should preach respect for humanity. I believe that what is important in the practice of religion is our common humanity. Every human being made in the image of God has blood flowing inside the vein. There is no Christian blood, there is no Muslim blood. It is human blood. There is no traditional worshipper blood. It is human blood. So once every human person understands that every person that is existing on earth is made by God, your choice of religion is your personal decision. And our humanity and our utmost trust in God supersedes whatever form of faith you want to practice. So it is the business of the leaders of every religious organization to speak to her adherents who decide to be violent, decide to be extremists, decide not to accept others to exist in the same society. It is the business of the faith leaders to preach peace and peaceful coexistence.
All right, but there, a lot of people would always quote Karl Marx, where Karl Marx has been quoted saying that religion is the opium of the society. And that's saying more times than ever before is always being used to push the agenda that religion probably seeks to probably take over the minds for other ulterior motives as against being an instrument of peace. When things like that are being said and we begin to see things, extremisms play out, it almost justifies that particular saying. Talk to us about this.
Well, thank you. Karl Marx, there is a context under which Karl Marx talked about religion being the opium of the people. In our context in Nigeria, we must accept the fact that there are many people who go around in the name of religion that do not even understand the tenets of their religion. When people want to commit crime, they never consult their faith leaders to say, please, I want to hold a meeting with you all to let you know that I'm going to commit crime. And it will be voted that the person should go and commit crime. And when such person is caught, he will say, I'm being persecuted because of my faith or because of my religion. I have not seen, and I have never met any responsible faith leader that is holding holy book that has encouraged anybody to kill, to destroy. But some people hide under the cloth of religion. If I, as a bishop, commit crime, I should be treated as a criminal, not as a bishop. And this is where the rule of law is very, very important. Nigerian government and the law enforcement agencies should stand up to their responsibility. Let nobody use religion, the cover of religion, to create crisis, to create problem for others. People are free to worship whoever they want to worship. Even those who do not want to worship should be free not to worship. So it is the business of government to protect.
But Bishop, permit me to interject at this point.
Want to worship.
Permit me to interject at this point.
Please.
I raise that we've seen through the course of history whereby the most popular religions Christian and Islam at different points in time. For I'm not sure about Islam when the jihadist wars were actually fought, but in the Christendom, of course, the Holy Crusades ended in the 12th century. It started in the 10th century, ended in the 12th century, and we've seen people kill, destroy people, and maim people in the name of God. How do you explain that?
Does it make it good? The fact that a bishop decides to commit a crime, does it justify crime? And so no matter whoever, the title, your social status as a religious leader, you promote crisis, promote division, create problem in the society, all in the name of religion. And when you look at it, some of these things are politically motivated. So it is the business of the system, the government, to say we have law governing the society. We are a responsible society where the law enables everybody to function within the frameworks of the law. So people should be allowed to worship whoever they want to worship. And for religious leaders to use their holy book to create crisis and create problem, then government should not be quiet.
And then, Bishop, in view of your emphasis on the freedom of worship here, so would you say, is that true inter-religious tolerance in Nigeria currently?
I can tell you that in Nigeria, an average Nigerian that goes to Lugbe market, or that goes to Ariaria market, or that goes to Ajengule market, when he wants to know the cost of gare or cost of crayfish, does not ask you your religion. Get the business and transact business. No transporter or no traveler ask who is driving me. Is it a Muslim or is it a Christian? He enters into the transport that is cheaper. And so what we found in Nigeria in many places is politically motivated intolerance, where people are using religion to advance their ulterior motives, advance their selfish interests. An average Nigerian loves themselves. They love each other and love one another. What we are seeing in many places is people who are very selfish about what they want to achieve, use religion to advance their cause. And we must watch out for those people and say no to such people that are motivating people to create crisis.
Dr. Anwar, I'm glad you mentioned the issue of politics. There's been criticism lately of the church of being involved in politics for pecuniary gains, especially when it comes to election periods lately. I'd like your thoughts on that.
Well, thank you. I think the church and I think the mosque, the people of faith, must get involved on how and who governs them. But I think the church or the Muslim community should not in any way, use religion to play politics, but as to who governs us as people. Because apart from the power of God, the next power here on earth is those in authority, because they are the ones given the instrument of government to direct, dictate, and execute. And so people and the church leaders should be able to hold people in government responsible and accountable, and knowing fully well that we have God who is the ultimate judge, who is the supreme God, whose words and actions are final. And so people of faith must hold political leaders accountable and responsible for their actions.
All right, so would you say that the men of God will probably use their pulpit to advance a particular political candidate in the just concluded elections? We're on the right, because a lot of criticisms have come left, right, and center as to agenda centered from the pulpit. Talk to us about the past elections and the conduct of the men of faith in Nigeria.
Well, Nigeria has freedom of worship, freedom of, you are free as long as you do not violate the right of others. You have the right to worship, you have the right to practice your religion, you have the right to who you want to vote for. You also have the right to who you want to support. What you want to ask yourself is, are you functioning and practicing within the frameworks of the law? And whatever you are doing that is outside of the law or violates the right of others, then it should not be done, no matter who you are. The question we ask ourselves, in many developed economies and democracies, people of faith come out to support whoever they want to support, but it must be within the frameworks of the law. It should not be outside of the law. So we ask ourselves, are we a lawless society, or are we abiding by the laws that we have set out for ourselves?
No, the question is, maybe I didn't make my question very clear. To simplify it, what's your opinion about give us your opinion about the men of God and also the imams and their conduct during before, during, and after the elections? Specific.
Well, if you have a specific reference, I can address that.
Okay, first of all, the alleged Peter Obi's leaked tape with Bishop Oyedepo, for example, Dr. Pastor Paul Enenche, and his words that were used, and the APC they didn't take it the right way, and they probably said he was inflaming the people. Using those two as examples, give us your own thoughts about this.
Well, first and foremost, I've not listened to the tape, and after this interview, I will listen to the tape to know what is in the tape. Peter, Oyedepo and Neche are men of God who have a right as individuals to whoever they want to support. What you will ask me, what I will ask is, in the statements and in the conduct, is there anywhere their conduct or statements violates the law or violates the rights of others? If there is any such, then somebody should ask the person, no, you are going beyond your limit. But if they are functioning within the frameworks of the law, I don't have anything against them.
All right, Bishop, let me just rephrase that, coming on from that question. Should the clergy be involved in making predictions regarding who wins or loses an election, and how does this impact public opinion on such matters? Should the clergy now, we're not talking about specific individuals, the clergy as, men of God in this regard?
Well, there is a saying in Igbo, nobody knows tomorrow. And I will not want to play God as a servant of God. I can only say what I believe and what I want to do, but I leave the ultimate decision in the hands of God. And so God knows what will happen tomorrow, and that is why God is God and man is man. And when once I know everything God wants to do, then it's no longer God. God, in his infinite mercy, has a way of making himself remaining God and we remaining mortal. And so I want to believe that as children of God, we leave whatever God wants to do in the hands of God, and let us do our own today. My business today, as a child of God, as a bishop, is to reach out to the poor, take care of the hungry, those that are dying, thousands of Nigerians that are dying of malaria every day. I should reach out and provide help and use the instrument of church to provide help and succor to them. I think that's what God calls us to do as people of God today.
Very good, Bishop. Still on that, we're still talking about peace building in Nigeria. How would you assess the role of the church over time when it comes to scenarios such as this?
Well, I think the people of faith, the church has done quite a lot. We must celebrate what the church has done. I was a young clergy when His Eminence, Sondembang, he is still alive, and the then Sultan of Sokoto came together, and that was the time of President Obasanjo decided that they will begin to bring Muslims and Christians together to begin to talk and begin to seek tolerance among people of faith. I knew how many times I traveled from Lagos to Sokoto, and I knew how many times His Eminence the Sultan and His Eminence Mbang met, began to build people together, began to bring church leaders and Muslim leaders together. I can tell you that a lot has happened because men of character, people who have distinguished themselves in leadership among faith communities, decided to work together, irrespective of isolated cases, places where people decided to be irresponsible leaders. But I think we have a lot to celebrate as a nation because many have decided that we must work together as people of faith and as Nigerians.
All right, Dr. Sunday Onuoha, I want to say thank you very much for your time here on Newsday.